Welcome everyone, I'll be showing you how we got this. So to start, the first thing to do is to take your trouser length from the tip of your waist on the side of the trouser down up to your trouser length. Then you use a chalk to mark it, after which you give 2 inches gap. And it is after that 2 inches gap you cut off. So we are giving 2 inches gap because there will be lots of folding. The downline of your jean needs to be strengthened. You just don't fold it once and sew. So after giving that 2 inches gap, you fold it inwards like that. You fold the 2 inches excess inwards, then use your pressing iron to create a gaiter. That gaiter is very important. Then we do the same for the left leg of the trouser as well. So when we are done with that, you bring it to the wrong face. So you turn it to the wrong face because you don't just cut your jean and sew. You must reduce some certain part of the downline before sewing, and to do that, from the right face you check, you see the part that has top stitching. You won't tamper with that part, you go for the parts that don't have top stitching because you want to hold it from the wrong face. So if it has top stitching, it would affect your sewing. So the part that doesn't have top stitching would be where we would hold the jean from. So what we are doing is we are reducing by 1/2 inch on the side, and I will be showing you how to do that. So after turning it to the wrong face, I will use my chalk to mark out the trouser length line again from the gaiter line we created when we folded inwards. So that is the trouser length line. I did that for the right leg, and I will also do the same for the left leg. And mind you, you are sewing on the part that doesn't have top stitching. So on the edge of the part that doesn't have top stitching, I'll be marking 1/2 inch on that trouser length line. I'll be marking 1/2 inch from the side on that trouser length line. So you can see me extending the trouser length line. Then I'll mark 1/2 inch on the side like that. That 1/2 inch, I'll come to the downline as well and mark 1/2 inch. Then I'll join both. But to be sure of what I'm doing, I'll use a ruler to create that straight line like that and make it straight. Before we go forward, the next thing you will do is to take 5 inches from the trouser length line. So I'll mark the 5 inches on the sewing line like that. After marking, I'll be joining with a ruler. So I'll join from the trouser length line to the 5 inches mark. You can see that line now, it is like a rectangle and a triangle. So from the 5 inches mark, you join it to the trouser length line. Then you take it straight down, that's the 1/2 inch straight down from the trouser length line to the tip of the excess given. So you could see the shape we got. So you do that for the left leg, and you also do the same for the right leg. That line you see me making out now or marking out now is where I'll be sewing on. So for the trouser length line for the second leg of the trouser, I'll mark 1/2 inch. I would also mark 1/2 inch on the down line. Then I'll go up from the trouser length mark and mark 5 inches. I'll be doing the same thing, joining the 5 inches to the 1/2 inch mark on the trouser length line. Then I'll join from the trouser length line downwards to the tip of the excess given. And like I said, it is on this line I marked out I will sew. So I will sew from that tip and blend it up with the sewing line of the trouser itself. We'll go straight to the sewing machine and I'll show you exactly how we'll do everything. So what I'll just do is I'll just place it on that line and sew, following the line upwards like that. When you are sewing, just make sure your line actually blends with the sewing line of the trouser, so you don't have something forming like an angle. And I will reduce the excesses like that. because if you leave those excesses, it will form a bulge when you are sewing. So after reducing those excesses, I'll fold back to the trouser length line I used my pressing iron to create a gaiter. Now for the folding, we'll be folding twice. You fold 1/2 inch once, fold again before bending. Now this is to make the downline thick. So the downline will become thick. So you fold by 1/2 inch until you get your 1/2 inch height for the downline. So you just keep folding until you get a 1/2 inch height for the downline. Then you sew on the tip of the folding. So after folding, I'll just sew on the tip of the folding like that. You can use something to press it down if it is feeling too thick for your needle to penetrate. You use probably your scissors to just hit it down like that. Now you could see the reason why I reduced the side of the trouser when I sew. So when I make my stitches on it, I reduced, because if you don't reduce, it will form bulge when you are sewing, or it will be too difficult for your needle to penetrate. So you just keep folding. And mind you, when you are sewing, you don't stretch, you don't drag it, you don't draw it backwards. Instead, you can even push it forward when you are sewing, because the minute you start dragging it, it will not converge when you are done. You have something that just looks like an open mouth instead of a closing mouth. So I'll just keep folding and sewing on the edge like that. And like I said, once again, you don't drag when you are sewing. If possible, you push forward when you are sewing. Don't drag it, because the jean trouser itself is elastic. So when you drag it when sewing, you're actually creating something that looks weird. You want it to converge, you want it to be reduced on the downline, not expand. So since the material itself is elastic, no matter how you reduce the downline and sew, your legs will be able to pass through it. So that's that. I'm done with one leg of the trouser. So that's exactly how you do the other leg of the trouser as well. You do the same for the other leg. You just sew, and when you are done, you would see that the downline will be converged. I will compare what I did to what was on the trouser before, and you will see the difference. So you check for any excess thread and you cut off. If you have something like a pressing table close by, you can just give it a good press. So that's it. You just don't cut your jean and sew. If you do that, you have a faulty job. So what you do is you reduce it. You saw the way I did the reduction. So we'll go to the table and compare what we did to what we had before. So when I bought the jean, what we had before was not as converging as this. It was even diverging like that. So I'll show you what I actually cut off. So if you look at what I cut off, the folding was done just once and it wasn't reduced when it was so you could see the mouth, the downline of the trouser is something that can easily expand. So that was what I had before I did mine, and this is what I had after I did mine. So you can tell the difference. So if you want to make yours, just make sure you reduce before you sew. You get a perfect job, and the downline will be as thick as the downline of a jean should be. So that thickness will be what will not allow it to expand easily. So that converging downline is the most important thing when you are reducing your jean. You can do the same process for your blue jean. For the blue jean, most times you use different colors of thread. So sometimes they use gold, and sometimes they use light orange. So it is just the same process. So if you can get the thread we use in making jean and you do it the way we did it, there's no need for you to cut your jean and rejoin it again. You can just cut it, sew it, and you get exactly what was there before you cut it. Just like mine, yours might even be better than what was there before.